Hello and welcome to an episode of Unlimited Power TCG following the first Sectors event held in Milan in Italy by OPE. Sector qualifiers with 546 players, and we're going to look at a whole bunch of statistics and information from this event here, and this is the sort of stuff we're going to cover in this video. We're going to go over some statistics for the entire field, looking at representation for everybody who turned up. Then we're going to look at the positive game record day one, so if you're looking for people who performed better than average on the first day out of those 546 to maybe tailor what you're going to be doing, then we're going to go look at some statistics on that. Following up, we're going to narrow the field down even further to those who achieved day two, and then following that we're going to look at the top 8 itself. After that we're going to move on to the deck lists for the top 8 and the paths, which is what they played against, what they won and lost against on their way to victory and eventual defeat in almost all cases. And then we're going to look at some other deck lists as well, deck lists which were good enough to finish in the top 64 and were the top performing leaders, players with one particular leader and therefore won a showcase, and were not deck lists that I've already shown in the top 8 deck lists as well there. So let's get on to it, shall we? First up, this is almost certainly not going to influence anybody's deck decisions whatsoever, but I find it interesting. This is the percentage of bases that were taken in the event. We can see that aggression is by far and away the most represented, and that is solely due to Tarkin Town being 43%. It wasn't too long ago we'd have seen that role being taken up by ECL, but now it is Tarkin Town representing almost 50% of the better game here, one single base, and the rest spread out there as you see. Moving on from there, this is a spread of leaders from the sets they came from. The overwhelming majority is of course from Twilight of the Republic. That is solely to do with the representation of Jango Fett, which people who've seen this video may have already known that Jango was very highly represented in this event, like extremely highly. We'll see exactly how highly in just a moment. So I thought, what would happen if we took the Jango out of this field? The answer is this. So it'd be a lot more even spread. Set to Shadows of the Galaxy, still the least represented in terms of leaders, people playing decks using leaders from Shadows of the Galaxy in this event, but it's still it's more interesting. Then again, the thing you got to bear in mind here is calling for the bans for Jango Fett isn't really going to change this percentage an awful lot necessarily, because some other deck will be the perceived big bad deck, and then that will just get played by all the people who want to win instead, or a lot of the people who want to win instead. So whether or not this will change anything is debatable at best. Moving on, looking at the whole field, this is representation by leader. 26% of the field was Jango Fett, 145 people ran Jango out of 546. Another 66 people ran Quinlan, taking that percentage up to almost 50%. No, that's not right. That's not a lie. That's completely wrong. That's like 40%. Yeah, 40% of the field was represented by 2 leaders, Jango and Quinlan. And then the rest on down from there. Han 1, Admiral Piet making a nice show from the new set. Boba 4 also making a nice show from the new set. Sabine's representation down to those sorts of same numbers as the 2 we just mentioned. Also Cad Emperor. Emperor's always been good as a solid control player. Anyway, you know these numbers, or you don't, and you can interpret them as you wish. I'm not going to linger on over them too much, because I think they kind of speak for themselves in a way. Moving on. I appreciate this is a big wall of text, but I had the ability to get precise deck compositions across the entire field, so I thought I'll get it. There we go. I'm not going to linger over this because it's making me my head swim. Look at it. But if you want to pause at it and look at it in detail yourself, you are more than welcome to do so as you wish, of course. That is your freedom to do so. Moving on to the positive win record stuff, and by that what I mean is they did not drop in day one, and they had a win record of 5 wins or more in day one. So that takes the field down from 546 to 203 players, and the record representation of leaders is as you see here. So The 28 and 17 represented by Quinlan is a slight increase on where it was across the entire field. So that win percentage for those two leaders has gone up when you narrow it down to the leaders that are winning games or winning more games than they're losing. Oh, excuse me. And the number of leaders themselves has shrunk down. It's interesting to see that there was at least one IG88 player in there. Go you, top job, well done. And one new Thrawn as well. I'd like to see some good hot Thrawn action, of course. We do have the ability to see them in a little bit more detail. This is obviously the shorthand we're used to in terms of leader and base aspect colour that we've got, or at least not colour, the aspect itself. Looking at this, Django was played almost entirely with aggression, as he should be. Quinlan, almost entirely with aggression, as again one might expect it looking at this. And the field is expanded out as you see there. So yeah, breathe it in. Looking at them in the exceptionally high detail, that is something that we looked at earlier briefly in this video when we look at the exact base that is being run and the compositions therein. As you can see that all of those top Django and Quinlans were all running Tarkin Town, and you can see what base is being run with all the other decks broken out in a lot more detail here to inform what you may want to take to the coming Liverpool Sector qualifier or the coming Denver Sector qualifier in a few days, the weekend as of time of filming, which is about 4 or 5 days away. Moving on to decks that made players that made day 2. This is where the representation changed. Django and Quinlan, their percentage representation increases dramatically once again to become, what is that, 70%? 70% Quinlan and Django, 45% Django, so there you go. The Obi-Wan, Piet, Bosk, Sabine, Luke and Anakin players in there each won a showcase, of course, because FFG had said that the top players of each leader who successfully make the top 64 cut, or make the top 64, will win a showcase with the leader that they have piloted to success. So that is also a thing which we're going to see a little bit later of further in this video. And going into that same mega detail on leader and base for what made day 2 and that representation, these are the people who piloted to extreme success over day 1 of the Milan Sector qualifier. Moving into top 8 cut. There you go, kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it, really? And the winner was a Django Fett player in the end. We're going to see exactly what order they finished in, and we're going to go through their deck lists now. This is the 8th, this is the 8th place player, running Django Fett, and this was his path to victory. The decks, games that he played, who he beat, who he lost against, all on the way. Race Limburgier, reference to the old Dragonlance Chronicles, love some of that. Dos Graios, I hope I said that correctly. God knows, I'm going to butcher some names in this video, I'm sure. 7th place, this was 7th place Django Decklist and his path throughout the tournament. 6th place Django deck, once again Shamsindullah inside. Jadimi perhaps, and the Jadimi's path to achieving 6th place in this tournament. The 5th place deck list. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Yeah. No charm in there, is there? I get the thing. Well. No, let's just move on. 5th place, Judge Zays. I have no idea if I said that correctly in the slightest. Path through the tournament. He did very well, of course, as did they all. Malvolio took 4th place with his Admiral Piet deck and was the only player in the top 8 who was not doing so with a Django deck. So that is, of course, interesting, worthy of note, and a bit of digestion. And Malvolio's path throughout the tournament is laid bare here. All of this stuff was all taken from Melee.gg, which has now implemented deck lists into the events that they do. So we get to go in there, we get to see the deck list, we get to see all this information, we get to pull them. I get to take it apart, I get to do all these lovely statistics stuff and add them in. So if you want to have a look at any of this stuff, the link to the Melee event for this event will be in the video description below for you to dive in and take a look at whatever deck lists you want at your own leisure and pick them apart as you will. Third place, the Django deck run by Kikiu, maybe? Kikiu? Who knows? Kikiu knows, I don't know. And their path through the tournament is here. Second place was Voltoire and their Django deck. And the path that they took through the tournament, which is almost entirely victories with only 3 losses throughout the whole thing. And amusingly, he lost to Django in round 10. That's quite funny. And first place, Avastator and his Django deck, the event-winning deck out of 546 people. And the path through the tournament that Avastator took laid bare for your delectation. Moving on a bit, these are the people who won a showcase by finishing in the top 64 and being the top finishing person using the leader that they were, who doesn't have a deck list, and I've already just covered in the top 8. Babaz has won a showcase with his Obi-Wan Kenobi deck here. Humar won a showcase, I said his, it's an assumption, with their Quinlan Voss deck. Varnai took whatever place they did, I haven't noted it on here because it didn't come as part of the thing, with their Sabine Wren deck. Xgeokid with their Bosk deck, congratulations. Hidavik with their Han 1 deck. Dayafe with their Anakin deck. I'm speeding through the. Well, I'm not speeding through these. I'm not lingering on these because if you want to take them in depth, obviously you can pause it and dig into them as much as you wish to. Noxum with their Cad Bane deck. I know Noxum from being the person who runs the SwooDB competitive website, which is also going to be in the links in the video description below. Very useful and informative website. Nagnone. Either way, Nanone is going to be one of the first people in the world to have acquired one of the brand new Luke Skywalker from Set 1 showcase cards. So congratulations for taking this Luke Green base to the victory that you have done here. Dars Dathomir with their Emperor Palpatine deck has gone away with a showcase. Iden Versio showcase is won by Sclerio here. Giaffo won a Han 4 from the brand new Jump to Lightspeed set, won the showcase for them with this deck here. And finally, I only know this was 61st out of 64 because it's stuck in my mind. Ibiza with their Gar Saxon deck has also won a showcase. So there you go, a whole bunch of information sped through relatively quickly because I'm not going to try and analyse all of that right now. I just wanted to record this and get it out so people who are looking at going to the Liverpool sector qualifier in a few days and the Denver sector qualifier in a few days can digest this information, have it to hand and review it, see if that makes you want to change any decisions that you're going to be making for the decks you're going to be playing based on what you are likely to be facing, what has performed well and what has not performed well at the Milan sector qualifier. So thanks very much. As always, watching this video, if you find it of any value to you, we really do appreciate a like. And if you want to see more stuff that we make with a whole variety of content, do check subscribe as well and get further notifications. Other than that, thanks very much for your time. Cheers, have a good one.